Remember when Borderlands first exploded onto the scene? A wild combination of Mad Max and Diablo that somehow worked perfectly. Well, forget everything you think you know about vault hunting, because Borderlands 4 isn't just changing the game, it's rewriting the rules entirely. Before we talk about where Borderlands is going, we need to understand what makes this reveal so special. For the first time in the franchise's history, we're leaving the familiar deserts of Pandora behind. Welcome to Chyros, a planet where high technology meets low-life criminals, where neon-lit cities rise from dangerous wastelands, and where every horizon holds a new secret to discover. This isn't just another wasteland to explore, it's an entire planet crafted to tell a new kind of Borderlands story. The art direction takes everything we loved about Pandora's distinctive style and evolves it into something fresh and exciting. But what makes Chyros truly special isn't just how it looks. Gearbox has completely rebuilt their game engine from the ground up to create what they're calling a seamless world. No more loading screens where you enter new areas, no more invisible walls blocking your path. If you can see it in the distance, you can reach it. This is a fundamental change in how we'll experience the game's world. The environments we've seen so far range from sprawling urban landscapes to treacherous wilderness areas. Each region has its own distinct visual identity, but they all share one common trait. They're more detailed and alive than anything we've seen in a Borderlands game before. Weather systems don't just change the sky, they transform the entire mood of the world. Cities don't just house vendors and quest givers, they're living, breathing spaces where stories unfold organically. Even the smallest details, like the way the grass moves in the wind or how light reflects off different surfaces, show just how much attention Gearbox is paying to create a truly immersive world. Speaking of immersion, let's talk about how this new environment changes the way we will actually play the game. Borderlands has always followed a simple philosophy. If it's not fun, it doesn't belong. But Borderlands 4 is taking that idea to entirely new heights. The core loop of shooting, looting, and causing mayhem remains, but every aspect has been refined and expanded in ways that feel both fresh and familiar. The most immediate change you'll notice is movement. For the first time in the series, Vault Hunters will have access to a grappling hook, allowing for unprecedented vertical mobility. It's a core part of both combat and exploration. Imagine swinging between buildings during a firefight, or using your momentum to launch yourself into a group of enemies. The possibilities for creative combat have expanded dramatically, and that's just the beginning of how Borderlands 4 is evolving its combat systems. But the real revolution is in the game's approach to loot. Yes, Borderlands 4 still promises billions of guns, but it's how these weapons work that's changing. The new weapon system introduces what Gearbox calls dynamic modification. Found a gun you love but wish it had different elemental effects? Now you can modify it on the fly, customizing everything from its fire rate to its special abilities. And then there's the skill tree. Gearbox has promised the deepest and most diverse skill trees of any Borderlands title yet. Each of the 4 new Vault Hunters have 3 distinct skill trees, but here's the twist. These trees can now interact with each other in ways we've never seen before. It's not just about picking the best skills, it's about creating combinations that fundamentally change how your character plays. And every great story needs a great antagonist, and Borderlands 4 is giving us something truly special: the Timekeeper. This mysterious figure isn't just another bandit leader or corporate CEO. They're something entirely new to the Borderlands universe, and they bring with them technology that could change everything we know about this world. The Timekeeper leads an army of synthetic followers called the Order, but what makes them truly dangerous isn't their military might, it's their ability to manipulate time itself. Think about that for a second. In a universe where we've faced immortal warriors and corporate armies, we've never encountered anything quite like this. The implications for both story and gameplay are staggering. The story begins with an event that sounds impossible. Pandora's moon, Elpis, is mysteriously teleported through space, destroying Chyros' protective barrier in the process. The Timekeeper sees this chaos as an opportunity, using the confusion to establish their control over Chyros. But there's more to this villain than simple conquest. Early hints suggest they might have connections to familiar faces from Borderlands' past, and their true motivations might be more complex than they first appear. The Order themselves represent a different kind of threat than we're used to in Borderlands. These aren't just bandits with guns. They're organized, intelligent, and possess technology that rivals anything in the galaxy. Each encounter with the Order promises to be a unique challenge, forcing players to adapt their strategies and loadouts. And speaking of unique challenges, let's talk about the characters we'll be using to face these threats. These aren't just new versions of familiar archetypes, they are completely fresh takes on what a Vault Hunter can be. Each one brings something new to the table, both in terms of gameplay mechanics and story potential. First, there's the mysterious Siren. In a universe where Siren powers are well documented and understood, she possesses abilities that break all the rules we thought we knew. Her connection to the Timekeeper and the fate of Elpis suggests she'll play a crucial role in the story. But more on that later. Her presence raises questions about the nature of Siren powers themselves. Are there more secrets to uncover about these mysterious women? The answers might change everything we thought we knew about the Borderlands universe. Then we have the Soldier class, but forget everything you think you knew about previous Borderlands soldiers. This isn't just another character with a turret. This Vault Hunter can deploy an entire arsenal of autonomous drones, each with its own specialized function. The level of strategic depth this brings to combat is unprecedented in the series. And the third Vault Hunter brings something entirely new to the franchise, the ability to manipulate technology itself. Part hacker, part warrior, they can turn enemy machines against their masters or upgrade their own gear in the middle of combat. And finally, there's the close combat specialist. But unlike previous melee-focused characters, this Vault Hunter can seamlessly switch between different fighting styles, adapting to any combat situation. It's a level of versatility we haven't seen before in a Borderlands character. But enough about the exterior stuff. Let's talk about what's happening under the hood, because Borderlands 4 isn't just pushing boundaries, it's completely redefining them. This isn't just a new coat of paint on an old engine, it's built on entirely new technology that pushes current-gen hardware to its absolute limits. And the results? They're nothing short of spectacular. The most obvious improvement is visuals. Ray-traced reflections make every surface come alive with realistic lighting. Character models show unprecedented detail, from natural skin textures to clothing that moves and reacts realistically. But it's the small details that really show just how far the technology has come. The way light filters through dust particles in abandoned buildings, how water ripples and flows with surprising accuracy, even the way your character's shadow stretches and deforms as you move through different lighting conditions. But the real magic isn't in the big, flashy effects, it's in how all these technical improvements come together to create a more immersive world. Crowds don't just mindlessly wander anymore, they form natural groups, react to events, and actually seem to have somewhere to be. The weather system doesn't just change the skybox, it affects everything from visibility to how your weapons perform. Even the sound of design has been completely overhauled, with a new system that makes every gunshot and explosion sound different based on your environment. The game's AI has also seen similar improvements. Enemies don't just run at you or take cover, they work together, adapt to your tactics, and even learn from your playstyle. It's the kind of advancement that makes every encounter feel fresh and unpredictable. And speaking of unpredictable, let's talk about how Borderlands 4 is changing the way players interact with its world. In previous games, your actions existed in a vacuum. You could save the world or cause chaos, and the only reaction would come from a handful of scripted NPCs. But now, everything you do has the potential to ripple through the game's social systems in fascinating ways. Start a massive firefight in the middle of a city? Don't be surprised when it starts trending on Chyros social networks, bringing more chaos to your doorstep. Pull off a particularly impressive feat. Other characters will actually notice and react to your growing reputation. The game is constantly watching and responding to how you play, creating a narrative that feels uniquely yours. Your reputation will affect everything from what missions become available to how different factions treat you. Make a name for yourself as someone who helps others, and you might find merchants offering better prices or civilians providing valuable information. Become known as a chaotic force of destruction, and you might find yourself dealing with elite bounty hunters or facing increasingly difficult challenges. But perhaps most importantly, this system creates organic stories that emerge from your gameplay. Every player's journey through Borderlands 4 will be unique, shaped by their choices and actions. It's a level of reactivity that we've never seen in a Borderlands game before, and it fundamentally changes how the world feels. So, what does all this mean for the future of Borderlands? Based on everything we've seen, Borderlands 4 isn't just another sequel, it's a complete reimagining of what the franchise can be. The seamless world, the deeper customization, the enhanced social features. These aren't just new features, they're the foundation for the next generation of Borderlands games. Think about how far we have come since the first game. Back then, the idea of a first-person shooter with RPG elements and procedurally generated weapons seemed revolutionary. Now, Gearbox is pushing those same boundaries again, but in ways that feel natural and necessary. They're not just adding features for the sake of having more content, they're fundamentally rethinking how a Borderlands game should work. The focus on creating a more reactive, dynamic world shows that Gearbox understands what modern players want. We're no longer satisfied with static environments and simple quest chains. We want worlds that respond to our actions, stories that adapt to our choices, and gameplay that continues to surprise us even after hundreds of hours. But perhaps most importantly, Borderlands 4 seems to understand what made the original game so special. It's not just about the guns or the humor or even the cooperative play. It's about creating moments of genuine surprise and excitement that you want to share with others. Those moments when you find an incredible new weapon, or pull off an impossible shot, or discover a hidden secret that makes you laugh out loud. Those are the moments that turn players into fans, and fans into a community. When Borderlands 4 launches in 2025, it won't just be competing against other games, it'll be competing against the fond memories players have of the original trilogy. That's a tough challenge, but from everything we've seen so far, Gearbox is ready to meet it head on. They're not just trying to recapture the magic of the original games, they're trying to create something entirely new while staying true to what made Borderlands special in the first place. But what do you think about Borderlands 4? Are you excited about the new direction, or do you prefer the classic formula? Let me know down in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth gaming analysis.